Okay. Bandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yatha Prakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Ajnana Timarandasya Yanajana Shalakaya Chakshuran Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurava Bhistam Supurakam Guraganana Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bijapradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandabaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Vandetam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shidaram Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratabhishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Adi-lila, chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya and 5 features, text number 110. Now this is where Mahaprabhu is talking with the Mayavadi sannyasis in Kashi, in Varanasi, Banaras. And first he explained to them why it's in their course of study of just the Vedanta Sutra without any devotional activities was basically on a mundane platform. He said, my spiritual master said I was a fool and I should only engage in chanting the Maha Mantra. He told me verse Harinam, Harinam, Harinam Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva Nasteva Nastyeva, Gatiranyata. And then Mahaprabhu said, by chanting I began laughing, dancing, crying, like this. And my spiritual master was very pleased and told me these are symptoms of love of Godhead, and then I should continue chanting. Then the Mayavadi sannyasis were moved by Mahaprabhu's explanation, but they said, still, what will be the harm in studying the Vedanta Sutra? And then, now Mahaprabhu is explaining why Shankaracharya's impersonal commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, known as the Sharirak Bhashya, is actually misleading and doesn't really give the real purport of what the Vedas are presenting. So I'll start with text number 109. Okay, I said 110, but I'll just read this. Gonavritye Jeva Bhashya Korila Charya Tahara Shravane Nasha Hoy Sarvakarya. Sripad Shankaracharya has described all the Vedic literatures in terms of indirect meanings. One who hears such explanations is ruined. Tahara Nahi Kadosh Ishvara Agyapaya Gonarta Korila Mukya Arta Acharya. Shankaracharya is not at fault, for it is under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he has covered the real purpose of the Vedas. Brahma Shabde Mukyarte Kohe Bhagavan Chid Aishvarya Paripurna Anurdva Shaman. According to direct understanding, the absolute truth is the Supreme Lord himself, who has all spiritual opulences. No one can be equal to or greater than him. So the highest understanding, and this understanding where everything is ultimately coming from and where ultimately everyone is destined to serve and go to is the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as it's mentioned here, Krishna. Tahara vibhuti deho sab chidakar, chid vibhuti achaditari, gohin nirakar. Everything about the Supreme Lord is spiritual, including his body, opulence, and paraphernalia. Mayavad philosophy, however, covering his spiritual opulence, advocates the theory of impersonalism. Chirananda teho tarastan paribar, tariko he prakrita satvirabhikar. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of spiritual potencies. Therefore, his body, name, fame, and entourage are all spiritual. The Mayavadi philosopher, due to ignorance, says that these are all merely transformations of the material mode of goodness. Because ultimately the Mayavadis say that Brahma is immutable, so it cannot change, it cannot show personality, it cannot show qualities, it cannot show individuality, there is no existence of soul. These are all tenets of impersonalism, and they really make any kind of form of spiritual realization and just ends into merging into the absolute, losing one's identity and losing one's service relationship with the Lord. Therefore, it's actually anathema to the Vaishnavas. Taradosha nahiteho agya karidash araje shunitara hoy sarvanash. Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Shankaracharya, who is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, is faultless because he is a servant carrying out the orders of the Lord. But those who follow his Mayavadi philosophy are doomed. They will lose all their spiritual advancement in spiritual knowledge.
Entonces, Shankaracharya es el que enseña la filosofía Mayavadi.
Yes. Shankaracharya, in his Sharirag Bhashya commentary of Vedanta Sutra, he is advocating the Mayavad impersonalist conception.
Y es igual que los impersonalistas.
Pardon me?
El Mayavadi es igual que impersonalista.
Yes. Mayavads are all impersonalist. I know sometimes in the West, devotees commented they couldn't understand originally how Prabhupada was always talking against the Mayavadis. They thought that was some kind of sect that's in India. But actually the whole world is covered with Mayavad impersonalism. Even if you talk to adepts of other religions, they due to their poor fund of knowledge, they all think that everything ends in personal realization. They have no information about the personality, attributes, qualities of the Supreme Lord. So they think that because the material world is not of much interest to them, that they think ultimately full realization means just cancellation of everything they've experienced in the world, which is basically problematic for them. So they think ultimately the best solution is that you just merge with the Supreme and then you don't have any more problems. But it's a very poor a philosophy based on a very poor fund of knowledge. Prakrita koriyamane Vishnu kolevar, Vishnu nindara, nahi ihara upar. One who considers the transcendental body of Lord Vishnu to be made of material nature is the greatest offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no greater blasphemy against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami explains that the variegated personal feature of the Absolute Truth is the Vishnu Tattva, and that the material energy which creates this cosmic manifestation is the energy. Although sparks and a big fire are both fire and both have the power to burn, the burning power of the fire and that of the spark are not the same. Why should one artificially try to become like a big fire, although by constitution one is like a small spark? And we can see that because we can see that the Supreme Lord is, not affected by the dualities of material nature, pleasure and pain, hot and cold. It is not affected in the way that we are disturbed by so many dualities in this world, but that is indication that we are like small in comparison to the infinite. But there was a nice conversation that happened between Srila Sridhar Maharaj and basically impersonalists from the Arya Samaj when he was preaching in what's now Pakistan. And one of them said, if the finite could know the infinite, then he is not infinite. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, if the infinite Lord cannot reveal himself to the finite jiva, then he is not infinite. And of course, the Lord can reveal himself to his devotees. Jiva Tattva Shakti, Krishna Tattva Shakti Man, Gita Vishnu Puranadi Tahate Brahman. The living entities are energies, not the energetic. The energetic is Krishna. This is very vividly described in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vishnu Purana, and other Vedic literature. And this also is a point being made by Mahaprabhu that the Vishnu, the Vedanta Sutra is not independent of other Vedic literature. It's actually a summary of all the Upanishads and all the Vedas, and it's not going to present some different meaning that is there in the Vedas. So all the Vedic literature is describing like this, that the living entities are energies, and the Lord is the energetic. So aparayamitastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam daryate jagat. Besides these inferior energies, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material world. Besides these inferior energies, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshetra Gyakya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samgyanya Tritiyar Shaktir Ishyate. The potency of Lord Vishnu is summarized in three categories, namely the spiritual potency, the living entities, and ignorance. The spiritual potency is full of knowledge. The living entities, although belonging to the spiritual potency, are subject to bewilderment. That's because they're Tatastha Shakti, they're marginal, and they can be identifying with either the superior energy, which is spiritual, or the third energy, which is full of ignorance, and it's always visible in fruitive activities. So, I'll read that. Yes? What? If I answer you in Spanish, then I'm broadcasting on it. Okay, your Haripriya's question. Go ahead and repeat your question. Because they're marginal. The living las entidades vivientes son de la energía marginal. Y la energía marginal puede identificarse, puede ir hacia la luz de la energía espiritual, o puede tratar de dominar los recursos de este mundo material. Tiene libre albedrío para decidir. Okay. The living entity can either identify, being marginal energy, can identify with a spiritual energy and service life, or can try to to lord it over the material energy, because that is either the proper use or the misuse of one's free will. Without free will, there's no meaning of actual volition of the living being. Hena jiva tattva laya liki para tattva achana korila shreshta ishvara mahatva. The Mayavad philosophy is so degraded that it has taken the insignificant living entities to be the Lord, the supreme truth, thus covering the glory and supremacy of the absolute truth with monism. And monism means impersonalism. Vyasara sutrete kohe parinamavad vyasa branta bolitara utaila bivad. In his Vedanta Sutra, Srila Vyasadeva has described that everything is but a transformation of the energy of the Lord. Shankaracharya, however, has misled the world by commenting that Vyasadeva was mistaken. Thus, he has raised great opposition to theism throughout the world. Because we've previously, dwelled on the point that Vedavyasa is the literary incarnation of the Lord. He's empowered by the Lord to present the Vedas. And that real knowledge which he's presenting is not subject to the four defects that human beings of this world have, which is they're in illusion, their senses are limited, they make mistakes, and they have a cheating propensity. But if by pointing out here, by Shankaracharya saying, although Vedavyasa said everything is a transformation of the energy of the Lord, Shankaracharya has said that this idea is mistaken, because he said the spiritual energy cannot be transformed. It is immutable. So as a conclusion here, it says, thus Shankaracharya has raised great opposition to theism throughout the entire world, because if you say that the writer of the Vedic literature is subject to making mistakes, then what is the point of the Vedic literature? Then it will say it is full of the same fallacies which any philosophy can be harbor. But we say that actual real knowledge is not subject to these mistakes, because you will not find them on the real spiritual platform. Parinam vade ishvara hoyana bikari eta kohe bibartaban stapana jay kori. According to Shankaracharya, by accepting the theory of the transformation of the energy of the Lord, one creates an illusion by indirectly accepting that the absolute truth is transformed. And that's why one can become confused by so many statements, like in the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says, although I am in every atom of this material energy, still I am not in this material energy. It seems I'm not in this material world, in the sense that the Lord is maintaining everything by his energy, and he may also appear in this world, but he maintains his eternal activities in the spiritual world, his eternal identity. Just because by my energy, for instance, a rich man by his energy, he may be maintaining many factories or nowadays we won't say factories, we'll say he has many independent business holdings or business endeavors, and by his money he's maintaining so many stores and everything. So everything is his energy, because he's put in his hard work and money into doing that. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have his own personal existence in his own house. So it's like that. Shankaracharya is saying that Brahma, the supreme spiritual energy or entity, cannot be transformed. So then the idea of seeing individuality in the material nature, etc., then that's all illusion. They don't exist, because Brahma always is existing free of any transformation. So this is actually calling into question Vedavyasa's. All the Vedas is saying that Vedavyasa is mistaken, then that's creating havoc, with what our understanding is. We follow Guru, Vaishnava, and Shastra, and we see, and we take full refuge in them. How will we do that if we're thinking that they are mistaken? Vastuta parinamavad se praman dehe atma buddhiye vivartanastan. Transformation of energy is a proven fact. It is the false bodily conception of the self that is an illusion. So to say that this material world is illusion, that is wrong. We are experiencing so many things in this material world which have an existence, but at the same time their existence is temporary. That we understand. This table is here today, but maybe in 100 years it will be dissolved, sawdust or whatever. And same with my body. But at the same time, the real illusion is that I identify this body as myself. And I remember Prabhupada used to give an example. He'd say, of this false identification. Somebody is in an automobile accident, and he gets out and he shouts at the other driver, "You hit me, you hit me." And he said, but actually, the man himself wasn't hit. It was his car that was hit. But because he's in identification with his car, he's saying, "You hit me." But, that's, of course, just a grammatical, way of explaining it, that we say, "You hit me," referring to my car. But that idea here, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, it is transformation of energy is a proven fact. An example, we can use electrical energy to run a toaster, or we can use electrical energy to run a air conditioning unit. But so the energy is being utilized in different ways by someone who knows that can utilize that energy in so many different forms. So transformation of energy is a proven fact. It is a false bodily conception of the self that is an illusion. When I see myself as this material body, and then I adopt so many false designations called upadis. Upadis mean I'm thinking a man or a woman, an American or a Chinese or a Russian, etc. All these are bodily designations. And of course, we see that they're temporary because they can all be changed. You can change anything practically about yourself nowadays. Achintya Shakti Jukta Sri Bhagavan Ichaya Jagat Rupe Paya Parinam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is opulent in all respects. Therefore, by his inconceivable energies, he has transformed the material cosmic manifestation. Tatapi Achintya Shakti Hoy Abhikari Prakrita Chintamani Tahe Drishtanta Jay Dari. Using the example of a touchstone, which by its energy turns iron to gold and yet remains the same, we can understand that although the Supreme Lord transfers his innumerable energies, he remains unchanged. So someone can say, well, this is mythology, the idea of an alchemist stone that will transform iron into gold, but even this example is very valid because we can, if you understand how that touchstone is working, it is transforming iron, but it is not itself changed. It's not affected. But there are other examples that we can use. There are certain chemicals which, when without the presence of certain chemicals, a chemical reaction will not take place. And yet those chemicals themselves don't they're not changed. They remain the same. But without their presence, a chemical reaction will not take place. And just another example. What's the name of that? Catalyst, that's correct. Nararatne rasi hoy chintamani hoite tatapiya mani rahe swarupe avikrite. Although a touchstone produces many varieties of valuable jewels, it nevertheless remains the same. It does not change its original form. So the Lord can transform his energies as material energies, expand himself as the living entities, or also, which are described as separate part and parcels of the Lord. Or he can be present as his energy as the Antaranga Shakti, the spiritual world, Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy, or ignorance, the material world, or Tatastha Shakti, marginal energy. Prakrite vastute jadiya chintya shakti hoy, Ishvarera chintya shakti ite ki vishmoy. If there is such inconceivable potency in material objects, like the touchstone, why should we not believe in the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Pranavase Mahavakya Vedera Nidan Ishvara Swarupa Pranava Sarva Vishvadam. The Vedic sound vibration Omkara, the principal word in the Vedic literatures, is the basis of all Vedic vibrations. Therefore, one should accept Omkara as the sound representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the reservoir of the cosmic manifestation. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj says that this Omkara, Om, is very positive. He says that it shows what you are looking for, that exists. And it is the basis of sound vibration of the Lord. Sarvashroy Ishvarer Pranava Udesh Tattvamasi Vakya Hoy Vedera Ekadesh. It is the purpose of this Supreme Lord to present Pranava Omkara as the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge. The words Tattvamasi are only a partial explanation of the Vedic knowledge. Tattvamasi means you are the same spiritual identity. But we understand from Mahaprabhu's philosophy, which is the conclusion of the Vedas, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, that you are the same spiritual identity. We have the same qualities as the Lord, Satchidananda, eternity, knowledge, and complete happiness or bliss. That is the quality of the fully realized jiva, but to a limited degree. But the Lord is unlimited, but he has those same qualities. So that you are the same, having the same qualities, but at the same time different, meaning the living entity is finite, and the Lord himself is infinite. So by emphasizing that mantra, Tattvamasi, or the words Tattvamasi, which Shankaracharya gives as all important. It's only half. It's only saying you are the same as the Lord, but it's not presenting that you're also simultaneously different than the Lord. Pranava Mahavakya Taha Kori Achadan Mahavakya Kori Tattvamasi Ra Stapan. Pranava Omkara is the Mahavakya, the main mantra, or it says Maha mantra in the Vedas. Shankaracharya's followers cover this to stress without authority the mantra Tattvamasi. Now, of course, the Maha mantra is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. We will say that, but Omkara is the sound vibration representation of the Lord, and many Vedic mantras. They will begin with Om, just like the Gayatri mantra, etc. Sarva Veda Sutri Kore Krishnera Abhidan Mukhya Britti Chari Koila Lakana Bhyakyan. In all the Vedic sutras and literatures, it is Lord Krishna who is to be understood, but the followers of Shankaracharya have covered the real meaning of the Vedas with indirect explanations. Now remember, Mahaprabhu is explaining this to Prakashananda Saraswati and all the Mayavadi sannyasis. They asked him, well, why don't you study the Vedanta Sutra? And he explained that it's more important to chant the holy names. And then they said, but can you please give some explanation of the Vedanta Sutra? So he is giving a refutation of Shankaracharya's philosophy present in the Shairak Bhashya. And of course, this is their main point of study, the focus of their philosophy is on Shankaracharya and his statements, and Mahaprabhu is refuting what Shankaracharya is presenting. So he is, of course, defeating the Mayavad philosophy. Svata Pramana Veda Pramana Shiromani Lakana Korile Svata Pramanata Hani. The self-evident Vedic literatures are the highest evidence of all. But these literatures are interpreted. But if these literatures are interpreted, their self-evident nature is lost. Self-evident Vedic literatures are the highest evidence of all. But if these literatures are interpreted, their self-evident nature is lost. So you have to take the direct meaning of the Vedic literatures, not some imagined or indirect explanation of what one thinks it means. Emata pratisutre sahajarta ekariya gonarta bhyakya kore kalpana korea. To prove their philosophy, the members of the Mayavad school have given up the real, easily understood meaning of the Vedic literature and introduced indirect meanings based on their imaginative powers. Unfortunately, the Shankarite interpretation has covered almost the entire world. Therefore, there is a great need to present the original, easily understood, natural import of the Vedic literature. We have therefore begun by presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we propose to present all the Vedic literature in terms of the direct meaning, in terms of the direct meaning of its words, not some imagined interpretation. Imate pratisutre korana dushan shunichamat karakoila sanyaseragan. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus showed for each and every sutra the defects of Shankaracharya's explanations, all the assembled Mayavadi sannyasis were struck with wonder. Sakala sannyasi kohe shuna Sripad, tumije kandile arta e nahi bibad. The Mayavadi sannyasis said, Your Holiness, kindly know from us that we actually have no quarrel with your refutation of these meanings, for you have given a clear understanding of the sutras. Acharya kalpita arta iha shabe jani sambradaya anurode tabu tahamani. We know that all this word jugglery springs from the imagination of Shankaracharya, and yet because we belong to his sect, we accept it, although it does not satisfy us. This is quite an admission. Mukyarta Bhyakya Kora Deki Tomar Bal Mukyarte Lagala Prabhu Sutra Saka. Now let us see, the Mayavadi sannyasis continued, how well you can describe the sutras in terms of their direct meaning. Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his direct explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. Brihad Bastu Brahma Kohe Sri Bhagavan Shad Vidaish Varya Purna Paratatvadam. Brahman, who is greater than the greatest, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is full in all six opulences, and therefore he is the reservoir of ultimate truth and absolute knowledge. So the Lord is complete in 6 opulences, namely wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. Since he possesses his 6 opulences, the personality of Godhead is the ultimate truth in absolute knowledge. Swarup Aishvarya Taranahi Maya Ganda Sakala Bedarahoy Bhagavan Se Sambandha. In his original form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full with transcendental opulences, which are free from the contamination of the material world. It is to be understood that in all Vedic literature, the Lord himself is the ultimate goal. Tare nirvisesh kohe chid shaktina mani ardasarupana manile purnata hoy hani. When we speak of the Supreme as impersonal, we deny his spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half of the truth, you cannot understand the whole. And sometimes it is said that a half-truth is more dangerous than a lie. A lie can be exposed, but sometimes when someone presents half the truth and people take that as all in all, they become confused like that. Bhagavan prapti hetu jay kori upai shravanadi bhakti krishna prapti rasahai. It is only by devotional service, beginning with hearing, that one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only means to approach him. Say sarva bedera abideyanam sarana bhakti hoite hoy primera udgam. By practicing devotional service under the direction of the spiritual master, certainly one awakens one's dormant love of Godhead. This process is called abideya. Krishnara charane hoy jadi anurag, Krishna binu anyatratara nahi raherag. If one develops one's love of Godhead and becomes attached to the lotus feet of Krishna, gradually one loses one's attachment to everything else. And as said in the Bhagavad Gita, by experiencing a higher taste, you can give up lower taste or lower propensities. And we have seen that practically. Many persons who have taken to devotional service, their nature becomes very much changed, and they begin to take on a different personality, spiritual activities, and the Lord can reveal himself to such devotees, and they advance in their realizations. So the example which we've given is that there are many indications of this actually in the life of a devotee. That someone can say, "Have you seen Krishna?" And you know, but I may not have that full realization, but at the same time, when one is advancing, one can see many indications in one's life that one is on the proper path. Just like if you are traveling to a destination, you're using a map, you can see many cities that you will be passing on the road that shows you're following the right path. So this happens with devotees, and we see many times they lose taste for what is irrelevant, what is unnecessary, and they adopt spiritual values in their life. Panchama Purushartha se Prema Mahadan Krishnara Madhurya Ras Koraya Asvadan. Love of Godhead is so exalted that it is considered to be the 5th goal of human life. By awakening one's love of Godhead, one can attain the platform of conjugal love, tasting it even during the present span of life. So the 4 previous goals, which are actually mundane acquisitions, are the Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Normally people set them as some goals in life of religious duties or moral duties, etc. Dharma, Artha, economic advancement or development. Dharma, Artha, Kama, enjoyment, because one needs some economy to be able to enjoy. One has to earn money to be able to enjoy. And when one is frustrated with everything, then one can ultimately look for salvation or liberation. But the real goal, which is therefore called here the fifth goal, which is the real goal, love of God, it is so exalted that it is to be considered the fifth goal of human life. By awakening one's love of God, one can attain the platform of conjugal love, tasting it even during the present span of life. Prema hoite Krishna hoy nija bhaktabas, prema hoite paya Krishna seva sukaras. The Supreme Lord, who is greater than the greatest, becomes submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. It's the beautiful and exalted nature of devotional service that the infinite Lord becomes submissive to the infinitesimal living entity because of it. In reciprocal devotional activities with the Lord, the devotee actually enjoys the transcendental mellow of devotional service. So this was the terminology when Srila Sridhar Maharaj was talking with the leaders of the Arya Samaj, was if the infinitesimal can know the infinite, then he is not infinite. And Guru Maharaj responded, if the infinite cannot reveal himself to the infinitesimal, then he is not infinite. Sambandha videya prayojananam 18 artha sarva sutre prayabasan. One's relationship with the Supreme Personality of God, activities in terms of that relationship and the ultimate goal of life, to develop love of God. These three subjects are explained in every aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, for they form the culmination of the entire Vedanta philosophy, which these words are Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Sambandha, relationship. Abhideya means, and if the relationship is that we are eternal servants of the Lord. And Abhideya means to act within that relationship. That is bhakti, or devotional service. And prayojan means, what is the goal? To attain love of Godhead. So, these three subjects are explained in every aphorism of the Vedanta Sutra, for they form the culmination of the entire Vedanta philosophy, which the Vedanta Sutra is summarizing or giving the final, the summation of the Vedic literature. Imata sarva sutra Bhyakyana Shuniya Sakala Sannyasi Kohe Vinoi Koriya. When all the Mayavadi sannyasis thus heard the explanation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the basis of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana, they spoke very humbly. Vedamoy Murti Tumi Sakat Narayan Kamaparad Purve Jay Koilun Nindan. Dear Sir, or dear Lord, you are Vedic knowledge personified and are directly Narayan himself. Kindly excuse us for the offenses we previously committed by criticizing you. Say hoiti sanyasera ferige laman Krishna Krishna nama sada koraye grahan. From that moment, when the Mayavadi sannyasis heard the explanation of the Vedanta Sutra from the Lord, their minds changed, and on the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they too chanted Krishna Krishna always. Emadita sabar kamya parad sabakare krishnanam korila prasad. Thus Mahaprabhu excused all the offenses of the Mayavadi sannyasis and very mercifully blessed them with Krishna Nam. Tabi sab sannyasi Mahaprabhu ke loya bhikka korilena shabe made vasaya. So Mahaprabhu gave all of them the chanting of the holy name. Bless them with Krishna Nam. After this, all the sannyasis took the Lord into their midst, and thus they all took their meal together. Bhikka kore Mahaprabhu aila Vasagar, Hena Chitra Lila, Kori Goranga Sundar. After taking lunch among the Mayavadi sannyasis, Mahaprabhu was known as Gaurasundar, returned to his residence. Thus the Lord performs his wonderful pastimes. Previously, Mahaprabhu would not associate with the Mayavadi sannyasis, but he took the occasion of being invited to the house of one Brahmin who was actually a devotee. That Brahmin had invited all the sannyasis, and the Mayavadi sannyasis came, and Mahaprabhu did accept that invitation in order to change them from their Mayavad into understanding and accepting the Vaishnava principle of devotional service. Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, Arasanatan, Shunideki Anandita, Sabakaraman. Hearing the arguments of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and sing his victory, Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, and Sanatana Goswami were all extremely pleased. Prabhu ke dekite aishe sakala sannyasi prabhur prasamsa kore sab Varanasi. Many Mayavadi sannyasis of Varanasi came to see the Lord after this incident, and the entire city praised him. Varanasi Puri Aila Sri Krishna Chaitanya Puri Saha Sarvalok Hoila Mahadanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the city of Varanasi, and all of its people were very thankful. Laka Laka Lok Aishe Prabhu Ke Dekite Mahabida Hoila Duare Nare Prabeshite. The crowd at the door of his residence was so great that it numbered hundreds of thousands. Prabhu Jabe Jana Vishveshwara Darshane Laka Laka Lok Aishi Milise Stane. When the Lord went to visit the temple of Vishveshwara, hundreds of thousands of people assembled to see him. The important point in this verse is that Mahaprabhu regularly visited the temple of Vishveshwara, Lord Shiva at Varanasi. Vaishnavas generally do not visit a demigod's temple, but here we see that Mahaprabhu regularly visited the temple of Vishveshwara, who was the predominating deity of Varanasi. Generally, Mayavadi sannyasis and worshippers of Lord Shiva live in Varanasi. But how is it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who took the part of a Vaishnava sannyasi, also visited the Vishveshwara temple? The answer is that a Vaishnava does not behave impudently toward the demigods. A Vaishnava gives proper respect to all, although he never accepts the demigod to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Lord Shiva is also honored by the Vaishnavas because he's the protector of the Dham. And Lord Shiva himself is a servitor of the Lord. He's ultimately taken the Ganga water, which is the foot water of Lord Vishnu, and he's taking it on his head, Lord Shiva. Snana korite jabe jana ganga tire tahai sakala lok hoy mahabide. That foot water of Vishnu is the Ganga, or the Ganges. Whenever Lord Chaitanya went to the bank of the Ganges to take his bath, big crowds of many hundreds of thousands of people assembled there. Bahutuli Prabhu Bole Bo Hari Hari Haridwani Kore Lok Svarga Marcha Bari. Whenever the crowds were too great, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood up, raised his hands and chanted Hari Hari, to which all the people responded, filling both the land and sky with the vibration. So, saying Haribo, Haribo, and everyone's chanting the names of the Lord. Loka Nishtariya Prabhura Chalite Hoilaman Brindavane Bataila Sri Sanatan. After thus delivering the people in general, the Lord desired to leave Varanasi. After instructing Sri Sanatan Goswami, he sent him toward Vrindavan. The actual purpose of Lord Chaitanya's stay at Varanasi after coming back from Vrindavan was to meet Sanatana Goswami and teach him. Sanatana Goswami met Mahaprabhu after the Lord's return to Varanasi, where the Lord taught him for 2 months about the intricacies of Vaishnava philosophy and Vaishnava activities. After completely instructing him, he sent him to Vrindavan to execute his orders. When Sanatana Goswami went to Vrindavan, there were no temples. The city was lying vacant like an open field. Sanatana Goswami sat down on the bank of the Jamuna, and after some time he gradually constructed the first temple, which is temple of Shishi Madan Mohan. Then other temples were constructed, and now the city is full of temples numbering about 5,000. Ratri Dibase Loker Shuni Kolahao Varanasi Chari Prabhu Adi-lila Cha. Because the city of Varanasi was always full of tumultuous crowds, Mahaprabhu, after sending Sanatan to Vrindavan, returned to Jagannath Puri. Adi-lila Kohiba Age Vishtar Korea Sankepe Kohilan Ihan Prasangapaya. I have here given a brief account of these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, but later I shall describe them in an extensive way. A Pancha-tattva Rupe Sri Krishna Chaitanya Krishnanam Premadiya Bishwa Koiladanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates of the Pancha-tattva distributed the holy name of the Lord to invoke love of God throughout the universe, and thus the entire universe was thankful. Maturate Pataila Rupa Sanatan Duisena Patikoila Bhakti Pracharan. Lord Chaitanya dispatched the two generals, Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, to Vrindavan to preach the Bhakti cult. Nityananda Goshain Pataila Godadeshe Teho Bhakti Prachariya Asesha Bisheshe. As Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were sent toward Mathura, so Nityananda Prabhu was sent to Bengal to preach extensively the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to preach Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Apane Dakinas Desha Korila Gaman Grame Grame Koila Krishna Nama Pracharan. The cult of Mahaprabhu means the chanting of the holy name. Prabhupada uses the word cult, although it may have some negative meaning in the West, but actually here in India it doesn't have, didn't have that connotation. It just means the spiritual path given by Mahaprabhu. Apane dakina desh korila gaman grame grame koila Krishna nama pracharan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to South India, and he broadcast the holy name of Lord Krishna in every town and village, or in every village and town, okay. Setubanda Paryanta Koila Bhaktira Prachar Krishna Prema Diya Koila Sabara Nishtar. Thus the Lord went to the southernmost tip of the Indian peninsula, known as Setubanda, Cape Comorin. Everywhere he distributed the bhakti path, or the bhakti cult, and love of Krishna, and in this way he delivered everyone. Eta Kohila Pancha-tattva Bhakyan Ihara Shravane Hoy Chaitanya Tattva Gyan. I have thus explained the truth of the Pancha-tattva. One who hears this explanation increases in knowledge of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Dvaita Tinjan Sribas Gadadharadi Jata Bhaktagan. While chanting the Pancha-tattva Mahamantra, one must chant the names of Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda, Dvaita Gadadhar, and Srivas with their many devotees. This is the process. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Sabakara Parapadme Koti Namaskar Jaichi Taichi Kohikichu Chaitanya Bihar. I again and again offer obeisances unto the Pancha-tattva. Thus I think that I will be able to describe something about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a comment of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. I again and again offer obeisances unto the Pancha-tattva. Thus I think I will be able to describe something about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's also the expression of the Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That is, he also gave much importance to the Pancha-tattva, the chanting of the Pancha-tattva mantra. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Gohe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Das narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to preach the Sankirtan movement of love of Krishna throughout the entire world, and therefore during his presence He inspired the Sankirtan movement. Specifically, he sent Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to Vrindavan and Nityananda to Bengal, and personally went to South India. In this way, he kindly left the task of preaching his cult in the rest of the world to, and here Prabhupada mentions his mission, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Now we also consider that we are part of the mission of Mahaprabhu to spread Krishna consciousness. The members of this society must always remember that if they stick to the regular principles and preach sincerely according to the instructions of the Acharyas, surely they will have the profound blessings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and their preaching work will be successful everywhere throughout the world. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, 7th chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya in 5 features, the glories of the Pancha-tattva. So tomorrow we'll start with chapter 8 of the Adi-lila. Hare Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govinda Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridharaju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Chariyashta Tarasata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Chariyashta Tarasata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Raka Kshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sananta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhagavadas Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Pramsi Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shavasade Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Vishwavarenya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Madharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan. Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Chandan Parvat Maharaj Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.